Welcome to this introduction video to our Power BI report for the assessment tools in Metis. As a user of assessment tools, you'll probably be familiar with what you see now. Generally, for 3 of the 4 tool types, each question is answered on a scale of 4 alternatives, from the not very good at all up to excellent. In the following, I will refer to these alternatives by the numbers 1 to 4, where 4 is best. Management letter, which is the 4th type of tool, works somewhat differently, but there as well, each finding is also placed on a 4-level scale from high risk to low risk, so we use 1 to 4 there as well. Some questions have a 5th alternative as seen here. In these cases, a 5th alternative basically means this question is not applicable to this partner, so it's irrelevant. In the cases where this alternative is chosen, the question is ignored altogether for this partner in the report I'm about to show you. So let's go to the report itself, or rather let's go first to the SharePoint front page. To view the report, you will be given access to this SharePoint site named Tools. Here, the report is accessible by a number of links pre-filtered in various ways. For most of you, the most relevant version will probably be the one made especially for your organization. For this video, I'll be looking at the one for FFO. At this point, you may be asked to sign in to Power BI. I was pre-signed in, it seems. Yes, here we are. At this point, I need to point out 2 things. The first is that the data I'm about to show you are not real. They're completely made up at random, and we did that in order to test the report during development, and also to be able to demonstrate the report as in this video without outing any real information about your organizations. As a reminder that the data are all fake, all organizations here have a small X in front of the names. When running on real data from Metis, which is what you'll actually see, this X is not here. The second thing I want you to know is that once you are here, you can feel free to try anything and click anywhere without any risk whatsoever. It's impossible to do any damage to anything by exploring this report. The data in Metis cannot be modified, damaged or deleted by what you do here. If you click a bunch of stuff and feel you get lost or are unsure exactly what you've done, you can always start afresh simply by going back to the front page, open the report anew, and you'll be back where you started. It doesn't remember things from your previous session. Right, so the report. This tool, or this report, was created for 2 main purposes. One is to get a very general view of the state of the different partners. The other is to be able to zoom in on particular areas and questions of interest, such as to pinpoint what for a given partner is most in need of improvement. Now you'll see that the report has a number of tabs or pages. The first 3 here are summary pages named Averages, Counts and Counts table. There is a Tools Used page for an overview of which tools have been used for each partner. And then there are specific pages for the 4 tool types: Financial Checklist, Organizational Capacity Assessment Tool or OCAT, Due Diligence and Management Letter. In addition, there will be some detail pages which we will access by interacting with the report, and we'll get to that shortly. For now, let's start at the first page, named Averages. As the name indicates, this simply gives the average of the answer levels for each partner for a given year or years, in this case 2022. Again, a reminder that the scale is 1 to 4, with 4 best. By the way, management letters are also included here, and each finding counts the same as 1 question for the other 3 tools. So this page shows the averages, but it doesn't really show how those averages have arisen. For that, we have the next 2 pages. Let's first go to counts, which shows for each partner how the answers given are distributed across the levels from 1 to 4. So this column means 1, this means 2, this means 3, and this means 4. For example, by the 63 questions answered by XNFDM in 2022, 3 are at level 1, 10 at level 2, 22 at level 3, and the remaining 28 at level 4. The next page, counts table, really only shows exactly the same data, but they are in table form. So you recognize here 3, 10, 22, 28 for this one. So why 2 pages? Well, the thought was that the counts page could be good for an immediate visual impression of the state of the partners, while if you want to explore a bit more in a somewhat more structured manner, this table is kind of a cleaner way of presenting it. So it may be a matter of taste. Use one of them or both as you find best. So far in these 3 pages we've seen, the very general overview pages, all data have been aggregated over the 4 tool types. This page, tools used, simply shows which partners have been subject to which tool types in which years. So there's a green tick for yes, a red cross for no. Again, very general page. So now we can move to the tool specific pages. This is the page for the financial checklist tool, which only shows answers for the questions that occur in the financial checklist tool. At the top, we again have the average answer levels, and at the bottom, the actual answers are grouped and counted, just like over here in the summary pages. There's an average chart and a counts chart. However, this page is not disaggregated by partner, but instead by the headlines used in methods to group the questions, such as accounting, anti-corruption, assets, etc. And you may say that you may be interested in viewing data for single partners, and yes, of course, for that purpose you can expand the list on the left and select which partner or partners you wish to focus on. The next 2 sheets work in exactly the same way, but this is for the OCAT tool, which has its own grouping into ability to be, ability to do, etc. Again, the same thing over here. And this is for the due diligence tool, with the grouping that is relevant for that tool. Now, this is a good place for a reminder that for the 3 question-based tool types, the 3 down here, some questions occur in 2 or more of the tool types. So some of the questions summarized here may also be present in the financial checklist or the OCAT tools. And in these cases, it may be useful to realize that it's always the most recent answer for each year that is reported, regardless of the source tool, as this best reflects the most recent and most current state. So one sheet remains here, the management letters page. This one works a bit differently to the other tools. Again, we recognize the averages chart and the counts by answer level chart, just arranged a bit differently, and we're back to a disaggregation by partner again. This is because, of course, for management letters we don't have questions organized into thematic groups. In addition, this page has a third chart which groups exactly the same findings, but according to their current status, such as pending, under revisions, or closed. So that's our first run through main pages of this report. So let's have a look at the possibility that the report offers for digging a bit deeper. For example, for making comparisons across time and organizations, and for seeking out specific things to prioritize. So we go back to our initial averages sheet. And I'm sure you've noticed that most of the pages have had some buttons at the bottom. And this is the time to start exploring these. And they're grayed out for now. But on selecting a single partner by clicking the bar, these buttons come alive. This one says see organization development over time. So by clicking that one, we get the data for the selected partner, which is noted up here, so we know what we're talking about, for the years where data exists. So here we see the average over time in 2021, 22, 23, 24. And we recognize the 2022 data here with 3 answers at level 1, 10, etc. To get back to the averages sheet where we click the button, you can either simply click the relevant tab down here, or you can use the special back button. The back button is present in each page that you reach via button clicks. Going back in your browser, by the way, won't work because that'll take you back to the SharePoint front page. So that's this button. So let's select another partner, this one for instance, and this time we can click See Organization Comparison. And this shows how the given partner for the given year, which is written up here and labeled current, how that one compares to the entire universe of all organizations and years, which is labeled filtered. And by the way, when I say all organization, that means all, not only the one connected to your Norwegian organization, or grantor as it's called. Here averages are at the top. At the bottom now we have percentages instead of counts because the total is so different in these two that it wouldn't really look very useful if they were on the same scale by counting. You can see the numbers if you're interested by hovering over here. So here we have 24 questions at this level. In the entire universe there are 5,348. So why, when I'm comparing with the entire universe, why is it called filtered? Yes, because here you can select in the right hand margin what to compare this one with. For example, it might be interesting to see how the given selection compares to all data from this year from this same country. So let's select just 2022. Just Mozambique, and that is the comparison we get. So now we get for this partner here and here compared to Mozambican partners in general in 2022 here. Of course, this one is included in this one, so we can remove that one to get a comparison with all the others from the same country in the same year. Or you can filter in any way you like over here. So note also that these two buttons also work if you select the Norwegian organization on the left. Then in this case the data is for it is combined for all partners of this grantor FFO in this case. Same with this one. In the counts sheet we also have this development over time we just saw. Here we have a new button as well, which is useful for digging into the details. We saw that XFNDN had 3 answers at the lowest level, and we may be interested in exactly what is in such need of improvement. For that purpose, select that single segment of the bar in the chart and click See Questions and Answers for selection. And we're taken to this page. At the top, we are reminded of what we are focusing in on. Grantor FFO partner NFTN, year 2022, and the lowest answer level. Then there follows a list of the single questions we knew there was going to be 3 having answers at this level in 2022. And we note actually here this also includes a finding from a management letter. So let's look, for instance, at the top one. The question is about donor approval of reallocations. The answer given was major deviations to the budget were not notified to the donor. At this point, you might be interested in knowing what are the other 3 alternative answers without having to enter Metis or open a separate Excel sheet. So for that purpose, we can select this question line and click this button, and we get yet another page where this question is presented in detail. This includes the actual full question text. It includes under which tools and which headlines it occurs. Here it's under budgeting in a financial checklist, and we get the full text of the 4 answer alternatives. And the current answer will be highlighted in the color associated with this level. Back and back. The counts table, as I said, it shows exactly the same data as counts, so it has exactly the same buttons and works in the same way. The 3 pages for the specific question-based tools, that is Financial Checklist, OCAT and Due Diligence, they also have the button for going to a question list. And it works the same way here, except that only the questions belonging to that specific tool are included. For instance, here in Due Diligence, we may be interested in which 2 questions under anti-corruption are at level 2, which is somewhat poor. Recall that this is not disaggregated on partners unless you do it over here. So here we get the questions at this level for this thematic area, but across all the partners. Apart from that, it works exactly the same. You can select one of the lines and have a look at the question. So these 3 work the same way for this button. Management letters are again a bit different. We can still select a single answer level for a single partner, or in this case the Norwegian organization itself. As you see, this is a bit of a digression, but the way things are modeled, the Norwegian organizations turn up in 2 ways. They turn up as top-level grantor organizations. Look, we need to sign in. By the way, sometimes it seems that signing in doesn't work. In that case, just refresh the browser. And I get taken back to the start. Okay, we were here. As I said, Norwegian organizations are modeled as top-level grantor organizations, and also in many cases as partners of themselves when they're subject, for example, to management letters. So here we can click at these 2, for instance, and click See Management Letter Details, and in this case we get a very similar but not identical list. This is the list of findings for management letters, which also includes the short description given in Metis. What's the latest answer, and also what's the status of the finding. And talking of status, let's go back to the management letter tool sheet. You may already have guessed, we can also select by status. So if we wonder which XFNPH finding is in the revisions state, we can click here and again go to the same findings, same kind of findings list. So that actually concludes the run through of the functionality of this report, except as a final note, you may have noticed that in the right margin, many of these pages have had a lot of further filtering capabilities. So you should just feel free to explore these if you feel they may be of use. As I said initially, it's impossible to do anything wrong. Nothing you do here has any consequences in the data in Metis or anywhere else. So there we are. That concludes this run through of the Power BI report for assessment tools in Metis. I hope this video has been of some use. I certainly hope the report can be of use. And if you need assistance, feel free to contact support at the Atlas Alliance. Thanks for watching.